We've got TRUEWHALE, and we've got QDIZZLE. It's going to be an exciting one. We've got a massive player in the form of TRUEWHALE and Q David versus Goliath here in this match.
Definitely David versus Goliath. When you have someone always at the top of the ladder versus someone who is usually not, definitely the odds are not stacked in QDIZZLE's favor here. Interesting to see that QDIZZLE has first pick. TRUEWHALE has opted to let QDIZZLE take that first pick. Remember, the higher ranking player dictates who takes that first pick here. And if he does that, it probably means that TRUEWHALE's going to want to go and have two first picks and values maybe more of a second turn play, and wants to have that last pick to seal off his draft here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen, and like we had mentioned before, that the draft is going to be extremely important with TRUEWHALE. So, like you said, opting to go for 2 first picks and just go turn 2 in that second match, that we'll see where things go.
And you know, as we come back to here, I want to know, you know, maybe it could be a lot of things there could be a lot of things going on in this matchup. I mean, there's just so many things that TRUEWHALE could bring to the table. Although it'll be interesting to see how he drafts today. I was chatting with him yesterday. I know he's out camping right now, playing on a Starlink Wi-Fi. So, you know, definitely an interesting SWC experience to be playing out there, out in the wilderness. But we'll see how it goes. And it looks like the draft's actually underway. So it looks like we missed quite a bit there. But we see a Nana, Oliver, Joe Gunn into a lot of control and a Tian Lang from TRUEWHALE's side.
Yeah, definitely. You can take note of those pre-bans as well. Ragdoll and Daphnis. TRUEWHALE pre-banning the Daphnis here. I wonder if that's a little bit of homework as well. And TRUEWHALE's looking to wrap up his draft with a Volantis.
Great. So he wraps up his draft with the Volantis here. I know that's an incredibly well-runed Volantis. If I was QDIZZLE, I'd be thinking about banning either the Sekhmet or the Vanessa, but honestly, the Volantis is going to provide so much disruption into the Joe Gunn. So TRUEWHALE has a very good last pick, and also that Shizuka is going to give him a lot of flexibility. I think Oliver probably has to be a ban here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see another damage dealer taken out. So Joe Gunn is the ban, and Volantis, of course, a very disruptive unit, is also banned as well. So look to see TRUEWHALE take turn 1, see what he resets, and then see how QDIZZLE responds to that.
All right, well, let's get into our very first match today with TRUEWHALE and QDIZZLE. TRUEWHALE's going to be taking turn 1 with that Sekhmet.
Yeah, and interesting to note, if you look at how fast that Savannah is, it might even be on Swift, which is not going to play out in his favor if this match drags on for a long time.
See the reset landing on top of the Savannah as well. Savannah choosing to go after that Sekhmet. Sekhmet seems to be the unit of focus right now. Gets a little bit of an attack break here. Rolling the dice to see what second skill is going to provide for TRUEWHALE. Only getting a stun on top of the Savannah.
Yeah, only getting a stun on the Savannah, but that's a lot of damage that Tian Lang did to that Savannah. So either a really squishy Savannah or a really hard-hitting Tian Lang. And that's a lot of damage that Sekhmet's eating from that Masha.
Yeah, definitely a lot of damage indeed. You can see the third skill going out, getting the reset on top of the Sekhmet. Vanessa looking to get a defense break on top of Oliver. It does land true here. We do have third skill. He could get a little bit of value with stuns and does choose to go for it.
Yeah, it gets a lot of value from those stuns. TRUEWHALE's draft here is looking a little bit challenging because QDIZZLE does have the Nana Orb to protect him, give him a little bit of resilience, and QDIZZLE has a lot more damage and a lot more aggression coming out to the side of TRUEWHALE. So TRUEWHALE's going to need to proc a couple of times on his Shizuka to have a safe win here. Otherwise, there could be a lot of back and forth, and this match really could go any way right now.
It really could. I mean, there's an orb potentially coming up again to stack up for 2. If he can get rid of that Sekhmet, you can really see he's trying to get rid of that unit as soon as possible. He does have that skill 2. Let's see if he goes for the skill 2 instead of the skill 3. Only getting value on top of the Oliver.
Wow, unfortunate. That Savannah missing, that's Sekhmet missing pretty much everything, and right away Nana has 2 orbs, so that's a lot of resilience that QDIZZLE has on his field.
That's a lot of orbs. Would you have 2 Beast Riders as well, being able to be revived back onto their beasts again. Unit of focus is definitely going to be that Oliver. I think he wants to pump all those orbs out of that Oliver, so we don't have to worry about any of the Beast Riders reviving that.
Yeah, but at this point here, QDIZZLE only has 1 orb left and has a really squishy Oliver. Looks like he's going to lose another unit really quickly here. TRUEWHALE's Tian Lang does a ton of damage here, so TRUEWHALE actually has a very good chance to come ahead in this match if Tian Lang keeps proccing like it has.
Yeah, he's looking for some Sekhmet procs as well. Savannah, probably with Sekhmet in the eyes right now, trying to get another orb up as soon as possible. We've got Sekhmet with just a skill 1, possibly going to do that damage into the Oliver. No, goes to the attack break onto the Masha.
Yeah, it goes for the attack break on the Masha here. It needs to do that because that Sekhmet might be going down here and giving Nana 1 more orb. And I don't think that Vanessa's passive is up, but that proc is massive and might take out that Sekhmet here.
Massive proc right there to drop the Sekhmet. That's 2 orbs back on top of the Nana. Definitely looking really good for QDIZZLE right now.
Yeah, looking absolutely good for QDIZZLE. I'm not really sure what value this Vanessa brings to this draft here. It's just kind of sitting here reviving units, but it doesn't really provide aggression. So TRUEWHALE's going to need to have a couple of procs on that Shizuka, and that's another proc on that Masha.
That's big damage. Savannah dropping the TN Lang. TRUEWHALE definitely with his back up against the wall here. Oliver doing his Oliver things. We got that 3rd scale going for the reset. And there you have it. QDIZZLE taking round 1 away from TRUEWHALE.
Wow, I don't think that was the outcome or the opening that anyone expected here. I mean, we got into the draft a little quickly, so it was tough to see what the reasoning was or really think through what happened there. But I'm not sure I like that draft of Vanessa by TRUEWHALE. I mean, when you look at how many LDs he has and what his options are, taking a Vanessa feels kind of free to play compared to what he could really be doing there. So it's a little interesting to see why he picked that. And that was a lot of aggression coming from QDIZZLE's side. Typically, when you're underranked or behind or not favored, you want to bring in a lot of aggression because any couple of procs can swing that match in your favor.
Yeah, I'm not too sure he really needed that 33 speed lead. I think that's the only reason why he was trying to go for it and to have a little bit of value with those resets. But I also agree with you. I don't like the Vanessa at all. But pre-bans from last time, Ragdoll Daphnis, new pre-bans coming out right now.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what that Daphnis pre-ban was about because there's so many units that can provide aggression. There's Molongs, there's all kinds, you can even draft an Icarus, as you saw, there was a Jogun, there's Savannah's, Mashas. So I'm not sure if Daphnis is the right pre-ban there. Volantis taken out, makes sense to take out an LD unit. TRUEWHALE taking out the Oliver, so he doesn't want to fight a 33 speed lead.
That is right. First pick for TRUEWHALE is going to be the Shizuka, seeing value in that unit. QDIZZLE bringing back the Nana once again. Now, this is not as a unit that TRUEWHALE was drafting a whole lot, and deciding not to take this unit right now is a little interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting that TRUEWHALE's taking the Shizuka first, but it makes sense given the LDs that he has in his back pocket. He does have Pontos, he does have quite a few other units. Shizuka does give him a lot of resilience, but his opponent likes to play very aggressive, so I'm not sure about Shizuka into this particular opponent. That Jogun is going to do quite a bit of work, but you see TRUEWHALE responding with an AoE comp, which we actually don't see coming out of TRUEWHALE very often.
No, not at all. Water Ryu Moore coming out with the Changpeng. 2 picks here in response is going to be double Beast Riders once again. That's a lot of value with a Nana.
Yeah, I really do like TRUEWHALE's more in Changpeng into QDIZZLE, knowing that QDIZZLE runs an AoE type comp here. But QDIZZLE responding with, I think it was a Swift Savannah and then a Masha. He does bring a lot of aggression. He's likely going to need one more stripper up top. I mean, a Triton or a Wunsa would be great from him to seal off the draft. TRUEWHALE's going to bring in 2 fire units, Fire Bison and Sekhmet. I think I really like these 2 picks here. Could ban out the Jogun again, as he did last time, and use Sekhmet to reset a Savannah to kick things off.
Now, let's see, this last pick for QDIZZLE is going to be a Rika coming through for QDIZZLE. Interesting choice here.
Yeah, so TRUEWHALE's going to have to probably ban out that Rika if that Rika does get through, and usually they're on 100 res, so it could be a little challenging to deal with. That Rika would probably win the game on the spot. So it's either Jogun or Rika, but I think I would lean more towards a Rika ban here. And if I was QDIZZLE, I'd be looking at either taking out the Sekhmet or taking out the Shizuka, which can turn the tides. But of course, there's also the Fire Bison, which if it gets off is dangerous. So there's many options for QDIZZLE to ban out, but I really think Rika is the thing that TRUEWHALE should be targeting on his ban.
Oh, there's that Rika. Rika is getting banned out, and we've got the Carnal, the Fire Bison, getting banned out here. Speed lead for TRUEWHALE, and just an attack lead on the side of QDIZZLE.
Yeah, and so the way TRUEWHALE's drafted, that Moore is going to need to pump out a ton of damage because aside from Changpeng, that's all he has for damage. So we'll see how much damage this Moore is able to do over the course of the game.
Well, we've got a reset coming out for Sekhmet. Sekhmet looking to start things off right with TRUEWHALE. Let's see if he lands it. He does get that reset to land here. Skill 2 coming out with the Water Ryu, looking for some attack bar pushback here. No Despair Stuns coming through, though. Serious Matter's going to be dropping here. He goes for it to reduce the attack bars and get some resets. A lot of value sitting on top of QDIZZLE right now.
Yeah, a lot of value there, but unfortunately does not reset the attack bars of Masha, so Masha's going to have immunity to protect it, and TRUEWHALE does quite a bit of damage onto that Savannah, but again, QDIZZLE has more than half HP on most of his units, so TRUEWHALE's going to need to get to work, going to need to pump in damage, or else once immunity falls off, there's going to be a lot of damage coming out from these Beast Riders.
Yeah, and they're pumping in some serious numbers on top of that Chung Pong. Chung Pong looks like it's going to be an easy target for QDIZZLE to take out, meaning a second orb is going to be very easy for him to pick up here. Defense break sitting on top of the Savannah. I wonder if he's going to be trying to go after that to get a quick dismount here.
Yeah, but TRUEWHALE also needs to be careful that his Chung Pong looks kind of squishy here. Might be taken out by this Masha. This Masha does have attack buff here, and so if QDIZZLE takes out this Chung Pong, it's going to be really tough for TRUEWHALE to come back.
Yeah, most definitely, and I think the Nana is going to be there to finish it off. Definitely not looking very good for TRUEWHALE at all. Once again, QDIZZLE with a winning victory in sight.
Yeah, QDIZZLE definitely in a really good spot here. It's 2 orbs on Nana. That Chung Pong does get revived, but unfortunately skills are on cooldown, so TRUEWHALE's going to need to hang on to be able to bring this Chung Pong back one more time. But there's so much aggression coming out from QDIZZLE's side, I don't know if TRUEWHALE has enough to hang on here.
Yeah, that is a ton of aggression here. There's no value in trying to kill this Savannah because you know it's going to be coming back on a Beast Rider. Skill 2 available with Water Ryu. Looking to get any value here whatsoever. Cannot remove any of that immunity on top of the Masha as well. We've got the scroll that can come out here. It tries to scroll away that segment, and it does land true.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as mentioned, TRUEWHALE's going to need to do a lot of damage with this Moor to win the game, but as you saw, that Moor didn't kill anything. It looks like it needs a little bit more artifacts or needs a legend grind out his runes. Something is missing there. TRUEWHALE has not taken out any units. QDIZZLE still has 2 orbs, so this is a massive uphill battle for TRUEWHALE to come across.
It really is. You can see he's going to try pummeling the damage on top of the Jogan. Jogan's going to get removed from the field, but he's going to come back with the orb. 1 orb left on top of the Nana. He's going to keep trying to pump in that damage on top of the Jogan, potentially on the Nana as well. If he can remove the Nana, he might be able to sweep both Beast Riders with this Moor.
Yeah, might be able to sweep both Beast Riders, and Nana's also low on HP. Jogun is low on HP, so TRUEWHALE just needs a proc, needs to not get crit by this Masha if he wants to have a chance.
Ooh, let's see what's going to be happening. Definitely TRUEWHALE on the edge of his seat right now. He needs to take away a unit if he can. We've got Moor looking to deal some big damage. Can he get through?
And Moor's cooldown is coming up, so I think TRUEWHALE might actually be in a good spot here, but it'll depend if he can survive because Moor's going to be able to do a lot of damage, but get stunned.
Big despair stun going out onto the Moor. He would have had that second skill available here. Defense break sitting on top, and Savannah's not able to finish off that Moor there. Serious Matter is going to be available here on top of the Chung Pong. Chung Pong eliminating Savannah, killing the Nana as well. We've got Jogun looking so low right here.
Jogun looking low, and Moor is going to move next, and it has its skills up. So TRUEWHALE looking like he's in a good spot and is going to take this one home.
He's going to go with the big second skills. That could be enough damage to swipe the field. Nana's the only one available. TRUEWHALE makes a very, very edge of the seat response here, taking down QDIZZLE in this second match.
Definitely taking down QDIZZLE here. There's nothing this Nana can do, but what a back and forth here, and TRUEWHALE evens it up 1-1.
That is not the kind of match TRUEWHALE wants to play. He definitely is looking for a more secured victory. He was on the edge of his seat the entire match. The RNG was swaying, and that Despair Stun dropping on Moor just totally stopped him in his tracks there, and he was very nervous in that moment.
Yeah, what a match there. I mean, we thought TRUEWHALE was done, but I guess that Moor was able to do enough damage over time, was able to bring the HP of his opponents, of QDIZZLE's monsters down at a certain point where he was able to finally finish them off altogether. There was a lot of orbs on that Nana, a large uphill battle to climb. He even got stunned on his Moor along the way and was able to hang on. So what a back and forth. That really could have gone either way. And it's just probably the rune quality of TRUEWHALE's allowing him to hang in there.
Well, hopefully we get a better draft coming out of TRUEWHALE, because that's not how he wants to play those kind of matches. But QDIZZLE still trying to hold on. I'm definitely liking the Nana first pick coming out of QDIZZLE. He's getting a ton of value out of that unit.
Yeah, I really like that Nana first pick and bringing in that aggression, balancing the turn 2 surviving type play of Nana, using it to provide a little bit of aggression, and then being able to bring damage into your opponent. I'm not exactly a fan of TRUEWHALE's passive play right now, given the fact that he has so many weapons in his box. He's got a Narsha, he has a Tyrannus. I really think he should be dipping into those units and just isolating QDIZZLE's units off the field. I think TRUEWHALE should be looking to try to cleave his opponent down or do some damage out the bat. Eliminate units, and once you eliminate a unit, your opponent's draft tends to fall apart, especially if you're a high damage, more squishy type comp.
This is a super interesting pre-ban coming out of QDIZZLE and TRUEWHALE. We've got Sekhmet and Savannah getting pre-banned.
Yeah, Savannah pre-ban's a little interesting. TRUEWHALE probably just doesn't want to fight against that type of RNG. The Savannah's probably a violent build after looking at their attack bars for a little bit. And I think the Sekhmet pre-ban does make sense because that Sekhmet was able to reset QDIZZLE's units and make that opening a little tricky. So TRUEWHALE trying to lessen the RNG that can happen, and decides to go with a Shizuka Carnal. Interesting picks here.
Super interesting picks indeed from TRUEWHALE. QDIZZLE responding with an Oliver. I do enjoy seeing an Oliver here, and he's probably going to be bringing another stripper to go with it.
I think it's a Masha here because Masha's just such a good unit into a Carnal, and it's decent into a Shizuka. It's not the worst. It's kind of a neutral pick here, but I think Masha's a pick that he should be thinking about bringing in. Instead, brings in a Moore, which is also acceptable, but he does need to complete with the Changpeng and some other AoE damage dealer to finish off his draft. I think if TRUEWHALE were to draft some sort of like a Tianlang Changpeng or some way to counter, or even a Pontos Changpeng, he would be in a pretty good spot against QDIZZLE, who would need a lot more pieces to counter that.
Well, the amount of weapons TRUEWHALE has available right here, it could honestly be anything. So we'll be seeing TRUEWHALE's response shortly, and it's going to be a Ragdoll Dominic.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Dominic's always pretty good pick in this type of meta, but again, TRUEWHALE has so many weapons, he could open it any way he wants. Ragdoll's not exactly the best into an Oliver. It's great into a Moore, so we know that he's probably going to let that Moore through. But if there's any type of opening that unit you don't want to let QDIZZLE has, it's that Moore, because it's going to give him a good opening.
Yep, and the Volantis looks like it's going to be the unit wrapping up TRUEWHALE's draft here. We do finally see the Daphnis coming through on QDIZZLE's draft. I'm curious if that might be a unit that TRUEWHALE does not want to see.
Yeah, if I was TRUEWHALE, I would be scared of that Daphnis because that's a lot of RNG. Once that Daphnis gets across, it's probably going to nuke out the Dominic. I think QDIZZLE's probably going to take out the Volantis. I think that unit provides the most RNG to him. Definitely not taking out the Carnal, and Shizuka's likely not going to be the takeout. I think Volantis is probably a unit that's the scariest to fight against. And if I'm TRUEWHALE, Daphnis probably presents the most RNG, although I could see a weird argument for a Moore, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense given that he laid a Dominic after. It looks like Daphnis and Volantis here are the most likely bans, but we'll see what the players decide.
Bans are coming out right here. Let's see what these players did decide as we take our time with this ban.
And there might be a pause here. Might be that Starlink Wi-Fi going down while TRUEWHALE's out in his campsite. He has, but you know what I'm hearing? I think we're ready to come in and see what happens in this TRUEWHALE versus QDIZZLE matchup.
I am definitely excited to see what's going to happen here in this TRUEWHALE QDIZZLE matchup. We'll see. I mean, I had 2-0 as well for TRUEWHALE taking this one. And I hate to count people out because this is already one of those tournaments where we can't count people out. And it looks like we already have our draft lock in. It's the exact same units that we had seen before. And we're going to just take it off from here. Bans are locked in, by the way. We have Nana and Volantis getting banned.
Interesting. Okay, the Nana ban makes sense here because TRUEWHALE's counting on the fact that he does not want to give an orb and is okay losing a unit and should be able to take over after he loses a unit. So we'll see how TRUEWHALE does 3 versus 4 once he loses his first unit.
All right, well, let's see if that's going to be happening here. We've got QDIZZLE taking turn 1 with strips not coming through on top of the Ragdoll, and that means Dominic's going to be moving up next.
Yeah, QDIZZLE not banning out that Ragdoll, allowing TRUEWHALE to cut him. That's a squishy Daphnis, basically losing all of his HP to a Dominic. So definitely challenger level runes on this Daphnis here.
Wow, we were expecting Daphnis to be taking down a unit here, but we've got the opposite results. We had Dominic almost taking out the Daphnis here, and Ragdoll finishing off Daphnis, and already QDIZZLE is down a unit.
Yeah, and it could also be that this Dominic here could be truly a Giga Chad Dominic. It does so much damage here. I don't think QDIZZLE's ready for this type of aggression coming out of TRUEWHALE. And of course, that Ragdoll disrupted turn 1, allowing for the setup to happen. And that's 2-turn immunity on 2 of TRUEWHALE's units right now.
There's that big damage coming through with the Dominic. You'd see QDIZZLE's definitely scrambling to try to take that unit out as soon as possible. This is the kind of aggressive play that we do like to see from TRUEWHALE.
Yeah, this is a lot of aggression, a lot of damage. It's not a lot of damage that Masha did to that Dominic, so I really think TRUEWHALE's in a good spot here. I think his Dominic is well supported. It's doing a ton of damage here. TRUEWHALE looks like he's in a good spot.
Definitely in a good spot indeed. We'll see what happens with the second scale here. Some strips are coming out, but no despair stones. We can't confirm if that is a despair more or not.
Yeah, we can't confirm if it's a Despair and More or not, but also interesting to note here is that Oliver is likely not going to take another turn. His attack bar is super low here. TRUEWHALE's doing a ton of damage here, and not a proc on that Masha, so that Fire Bison is going to move in front of this Oliver.
Yeah, if he had got that proc, we may have seen a missing Fire Bison here, but no procs coming through. Looking for a Provoke to land on top of that Oliver. No Provokes going to be landing. Oh, we get the additional turn. Psycho Crusher coming out to eliminate 2 units from QDIZZLE's field.
Yeah, eliminates 2 units from QDIZZLE's field, and this game is over, and TRUEWHALE is able to take it 2-1.